Hello friends, welcome to today's daily devotion. I'm Kerry Wood at the Goldston Methodist Church in Goldston, North Carolina, and today we're concluding the 10th chapter of Romans, reading verses 16 through 21. Hear now these words. Still, it may be said, everyone did not give heed to the good news. No, for Isaiah asks, Lord, who has believed our teaching? And so we gather faith is a result of teaching, and the teaching comes in the message of Christ. But I ask, is it possible that people have never heard? Nor indeed, for their voices spread through all the earth, and their message to the ends of the world. But I ask again, did not the people of Israel understand? First, there is Moses who says, I, the Lord, will stir you to rivalry with a nation which is no nation. Against an undiscerning nation, I will arouse your anger. And Isaiah says boldly, I was found by those who were not seeking me. I made myself known to those who were not inquiring of me. But of the people of Israel, he says, all day long I have stretched out my hands to a people who disobey and contradict. Okay, Paul has gone down into the weeds of the Old Testament yet again. And the reason Paul goes down into these weeds is because after describing the good news of Jesus Christ, the process of salvation, and how that process gets impacted through the sending of witnesses out into the world, Paul is describing that we gather people, we teach people, and then they experience faith. Except not everyone who hears will have faith. Not everyone who gathers will accept the teaching, and not everyone will come to the gathering. And so this is the bad news of human free will. And Paul recognizes that this is his people's reality. Israel, throughout its own history for hundreds and hundreds of years, have failed to accept the good news that God has tried to give them. It is a recognized factor throughout the Hebrew Scriptures, and Paul quotes to show them. And so, chapter 10 ends on the downer. We know the steps to be saved. We know the goal and the steps that are required to gain faith. We know the requirements for the good news to be heard, and yet there are so many who continue to say no, who continue to ignore, who continue to think that all of this Jesus stuff is irrelevant and immaterial to our 21st day living. So is it any wonder that Paul is frustrated with the people in his first century living? So we still feel the pain of chapter 9 in the midst of chapter 10. And so we move into chapter 11 without a sense of relief. What shall we do? Well, here at Goldston Methodist Church, we are striving to ask and answer that question through the power of the Holy Spirit. Yes, there's a lot of bad news, but we are still a people of good news, and you're invited to come be a part of what God is doing. If you can be with us at all in a physical sense, come join us here in Goldston at 185 Hillcrest Avenue. This Sunday morning, we will gather for our Sunday school at 9 a.m., followed by worship at 10. It's going to be a wonderful time to experience the good news of God, to gather, to teach, and build our faith. Please come and be a part of it. If you can't be with us physically, then you're welcome to join us virtually. We will show our worship live streaming on Facebook Live, and the recording will be made available on our YouTube page. So come and be part of what God is doing virtually, so that you can be part of what God is doing physically wherever you may be. I know there's a lot of pain here in these middle chapters of Romans, but stay tuned. Good news is a-coming, and joy will be apparent. And I'll see you on Monday for our next daily devotion.